Hey, what's up? It's Sifu Kuttel, and in this video, we're going to be doing a technique from my book, Monkey Movement. It's available on Amazon, and we're going to be doing one of the combat techniques. This is on page 66. This is the rising palm. Now, we're going to be using this in combination with one of the most classic, wonderfully named techniques. That's Monkey Steals Peach. And we're going to be putting this into more of just a simple like 1-2 combination. So this is something you can add to some of your other monkey techniques. And as well, I want to take a little bit of time afterward to talk about how we can apply this in a combat sports context. But first we have to know the movements, so let's go get to work. For our first hand technique, we're going to be using a rising palm strike. Now, don't think of this as so much like a swinging uppercut. We're not trying to get up under the chin like this. This is more of a straightforward thrust. And rising, we're just moving up in elevation from hip to either striking the head, or in this case, we're going to use this to strike to the solar plexus. So you want to make sure we use the meaty part of the palm behind at the very bottom of the thumb to the pinky. This has a lot of power behind it, and we're going to use this to strike to the solar plexus. So we're going to start nice and low. We're going to be in our monkey position, and then we're going to take a crossing step forward with our back leg. At the same time, my front hand is going to come upward and then hit towards the solar plexus. Okay, so again, right here, I'm just going to take that step forward and then strike. A lot of power comes from our body pushing into this. So don't engage as a step that's half there. You want to get the entire body forward. Think of if you're going to crash into them or stumble into them with your body. Now, since we're low, we need to protect the head, and monkey style, we're going to keep our palm down, hand up. So think of blocking from the wrist up, or just lifting up to get underneath and then strike. Okay, so from our low position, my backhand comes up, I step forward and strike. Now, this is from this guard position, I'm just going to drop it back, take a step forward, big swinging strike to the groin. This is the classic Monkey Steals Peach, right? So again, from my position right here, I'm going to clear, push, drop, come right up. Now again, I'm hitting with the meaty part of the palm. I want to think of good upward pressure, but also a little bit of forward pressure at the end, okay? So again, we're low with this technique. We're staying down nice and low. We're going to come up 1, 2, okay? So again, facing towards you, we're staying nice and low. We're going to come up 1, 2. All right, now I want to take a moment and talk about how this can apply in more of a fighting or a combat sports context. Obviously, we're not going to be hitting those super low stances. We're not going to be twisting the leg. We're not going to have these monkey positions, and we're not going to have our hand drop all the way back. This looks good for monkey form, but there's adjustments that we have to make. And first and foremost is our target area, okay? So if you're not gonna be able to use this one in MMA or UFC, and it's not because it's too dangerous, it's because if you hit somebody in the groin intentionally, you're getting DQ'd, you're losing your fight, and I don't know what you're proving out of that other than you're nobody's friend, you're a jerk, okay? So we can look at this in a little bit of a different way. Now, of course, also, if we adhere to the stance position and crossing these legs tight and trying to be low, this is going to be prime target for a grappler. They love that position. You're pretty much taking yourself down for them. But when we look at it in a little bit of a different light, instead of the low training stances, being more up in a true to fight stance, this twist stance is not so much staying low and touching knee to knee as much as it is just moving this back foot forward, okay? Now, of course, if you were thinking that like, oh, well, why don't you just do it like that in the form? Well, if I keep the toes out, it's all about my hip position here. I'm still using my front hand. So if I took a big step forward, it's going to change the timing of this strike. So I want my front hand to be able to post out right away. And we're going to use that same idea. I'm going to post out and try to push my opponent. Now, this is another context thing. So if I'm in the middle of the ring or the middle of the cage or the middle of wherever you're at, you want to, if you start pushing the person back, you start taking that step in and pushing them back, if they have room to move back, you're just chasing them at this point. What makes this technique work is limited mobility behind them. Okay, so this is when they're up to the wall, up to the cage, up to the ropes. We want to push them up to the edge and then trap them there. That's also what I mentioned earlier. When we take that step forward, we're using our entire body to push and trap. Then I'm getting my backhand ready to step forward and then come in with an uppercut. We're just going to go nice underneath and hit towards the ribs, hit towards the kidneys if they're turning, or the liver or spleen. Okay, so again, right here, push, come up underneath. It's the same footwork, it's not low, and it doesn't have the decorations on it. And it's more in the context of combat sports. Now, you can turn your palm, however. I feel it's a little more comfortable for me to keep my palm turned over like a thrusting palm rather than a rising palm. But if you have open finger gloves, you could always try to push more towards the chest. You have a chance of maybe pushing at the throat, which could be a little bit of a no-no, or you could just go straight up towards the face, and then now you have room to come in underneath to the ribs or to the chin with an uppercut. The key here is the timing of the strike as well. So once we plant, I don't have to make this like a 1-2 combination. If I think of that, I'm gonna lose this hand. I need to connect with them and then come up underneath. So the first step is essential, trap, and then if we want to step same time or step, and then we go in for our uppercut from there. But we wanna make them try to fight this pressure and not see what's coming up underneath. Okay, so a little bit more of an understanding of how we can apply this in combat, as well as you can look at other ways of using your forms and translating them into more practical application. Okay, so there you have it. Now, when we look at this technique, we can see from the monkey style, there's some monkey acting to it. We have some monkey positions, nice and low. This develops some good training for the legs, some good hip position, and it's just a nice way of learning some practical techniques that you can add to the rest of your monkey training. As far as how it can be used in MMA, like I said, don't use this one in MMA because, well, I mean, it's not too deadly or too dangerous. It's the fact that you're going to get disqualified. Nobody likes to get hit in the groin, so don't do that. It is potentially dangerous, and you're going to lose friends, and overall it just means you're a jerk. So don't be that person. But I have given you a way to translate that, and I really like the idea of translating here, because just like languages, you can translate one language into many different languages. Same thing with martial arts. So we can translate the form to function in many different contexts in many different ways. So we have options for just the form itself, we have self-defense, we have combat sports, and we have more freestyle empty hand fighting that you can use for this technique. So there's a lot of different ways that we can apply it, but it also comes down to how you practice it. Now, I encourage you to add the sparring version, posting somebody up and then throwing that uppercut and advancing in to not give them a chance to get their footing or try to slip or roll that post off. And you can start to feel how this technique should work and how the body mechanics should go and how you need to put your body weight into this, because it can be effective. Using it for self-defense is pretty much just like that. You can either do the exact same thing, throw in a punch, or you can use that groin strike if you want. But in either case, it's not going to end the fight there. You need to be prepared to continue to do something afterwards, okay? We're just looking at two particular techniques today, and that come from the monkey style. Now, if you want to learn more about this, you can pick up my book. It's on Amazon. It is called Monkey Movement. It has this technique as well as many other techniques. I don't go into as much depth of how it's used in combat sports. It's more so just to understand this and many other techniques, especially the acrobatic ones that you're going to be using for monkey style Kung Fu. I'll leave a link down in the description below so you can pick up a copy for yourself. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next.